Hello and welcome to another edition of Community Update. If you haven't met, I am Promise Okoy and I'll be your host today. A New Year's resolution is a tradition in which some people resolve to continue good practices, change an undesired trait or behavior, accomplish a personal goal, or otherwise improve their overall behavior. And every year, millions of people make New Year's resolutions, and 2023 is not an exception. Most people hope to spark positive change at the beginning of a calendar year like this one. The recurring themes each year include a more active approach to health and fitness, improved finances, and learning new things for personal and professional development. Right now, I am being joined by Banji Afolabi, a leadership expert here in Halifax, who is going to help us with tips on how we can make these goals. It's good to have you in the studio.
Thank you, Promise. Thank you for having me.
So let's jump right into it. Looking at what happened in 2022, a whole lot has happened.
Yeah.
Let's know, what are these lessons that we may have learned from 2022 that we need to, put into a planning for a better 2023?
Promise, there are a lot to learn. Once again, thank you for having me here. There are a lot to learn in 2022. But one thing that stood out for me as a person in 2022 is that we can continue to joke with the newest currency that is being discovered. It's been there, but most people didn't know, and that's relationship. Relationship is one of the greatest currency that allowed people to be able to ride through 2022, especially from COVID season. That relationship with people, with friends, with family, with colleague, with yourself is one strong virtue as a lesson. And then for some people who didn't have it in 2022, it's one critical ingredient they will need in 2023. So, and my intention is to oil my relationship more. Relationship can afford me accesses. Relationship can afford me things that I would have used money to buy to get them. Relationship can open doors where I don't have the keys, Right. So in 2022, if there's anything that stood out for me, is that one key. Relationship can make me get what I should have gotten at X bigger amount of money at a lower price. Right. Because I know someone who knows where I can get it cheaper, or I know someone who has a cheaper way. Relationship can afford me a new job.
Right.
A good relationship with someone can let you know that there is a job opening somewhere. So I can't be into myself. Even though there have been a lot of things that had happened to us as a people, one thing we don't want to joke with in 2023 as we go, because you mentioned that a lot of people are beginning to set New Year resolutions, which is great. Right. Resolutions are great, but the greater of resolution is goals.
Right. I agree with you. So I consider a new year a clean slate.
True.
A season for a reset.
I agree with you.
And it won't be far from something that looks like self-repositioning. How would you advise our viewers to reposition themselves for better opportunities in 2023?
The first thing that we need to know is that either you are conscious or not, life designs you to reposition. Either it's a consciousness or not. How do I mean? From inception of conception to the point where we go back to the ground, going back to the ground, literally leaving this world, life repositions you. So your shoe size changes as you grow, your height changes as you grow, so your reposition, it changes your position. Something grows, either you want it to grow or not. The same for an individual, the same for an entity. So there is a need for life repositioning. In fact, my recommendation is that life and preparation should not be a yearly thing. It should be seasonal. Right. Sensitive, forward-thinking people plan for seasons, not for time.
Right.
If you plan for time, you are planning January 2023 to December 2023. But a smarter person is planning the next decade. So if you say, I'm planning to have a child in 2023, if I conceive in 2023, for instance, if I get pregnant in July 2023, I am, by the law of life, not going to have the baby until 2024.
Right.
So if my plan ends in 2023 for the baby, it means that the baby is going to, so you must begin to think in terms of seasons. For business, it's the same. You start up a business and then you have your plan. You can't afford to have a 1-year plan for a business. There must be a rollover of that plan. So because life has designed us in seasons, a senior friend says life is in phases and men are in sizes. Right. So we need to begin to live our sizes per time. Some people are living their size 3 and they need to have moved to a size 10. Unfortunately, we have some other people who are size 3 originally, and they are trying to fit into a size 10. In 2023, one critical thing that we must look at is that it's not going to be enough to have a resolution. First, goal is far more realistic than resolution. By research, resolution dies off at the 3rd week of January. People just naturally forget.
Oh, really?
Yes, naturally forget. But
Never thought of it that way.
If you set a goal, actionable goal,
right,
that you can follow up with over a season, and then that goal is measurable, is specific enough, the SMART, specific enough, it is measurable, and you can act on it. You see, people think, but people don't act. And that's the major issue that we have. So in 2023, my challenge is that people should not just think like a man of action, but people should begin to act like a man of thought.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because one key thing is critical in 2023. Don't have vision. Be a visionary.
Wow,
there are two things. Those two are not the same.
That's heavy.
If you have a vision, you see the future.
Right.
If you are a visionary, you create the future.
Right. So, Afolabi, let me take you back a little bit to 2022.
Okay.
There were a lot of misses. There are people who probably plan to achieve certain things, but for some reason they missed these things.
Yeah.
Circumstances, right? And while we think that there are some positive things that will come in 2023, I also anticipate that the looming inflation that is global now, it's definitely going to hit us at some point. Yeah. How can people position themselves in this area? There are a lot of opportunities, but the inflation is going to set in. What are you going to be saying to them?
Realistically, inflation is here. It comes in seasons, either the economic inflation or other similar inflations that we may not be able to see. As painful as that might mean, which means that a chunk of your money is going to be taken off over a period of time. Here is my thought on this. Time and time again, inflation has come. So inflation coming in, though is not the desirable, but it is not new. If you check history, people naturally grow. And that's why I said that man is in phases, men are in sizes. If inflation is here, you see, I learned not to concentrate on things I cannot change, that I don't have the capacity to change. What I do to those things is that I adapt where necessary and then grow. So in the area where inflation is growing, which will affect disposable income, the amount of money you are able to use to make purchases, it could also mean that there will be increase in the prices of goods and services.
Right.
The first recommendation is understand that it's not new, number one. Number two, adapt in the shortest possible space, number two. Number three, grow. When you grow, everything around you also begins to grow, such that you are able to measure up. And then, what do I mean by you growing? You then need to begin to think not outside the box, but you need to start to think as though there is no box at all. You need to want to ask yourself, what can I maximize? There are platforms that can allow you have your savings, right? And if you're a new immigrant, for instance, and you are here last year, 2022, you have, for 2022, you are allowed to save 6,000 without an interest. That's the cap. In 2023, it was increased to 6,500, which means because it's accumulative, you can add what you have in 2022 and 2023 together, which means you have the opportunity to save interest-free 12,500.
Wow.
So you need to begin to close up on those. You want to also ask yourself the contributory opportunities for some people who have companies who allows that contributory opportunities.
Okay.
You want to also take advantage of it because it adds to your pension and other things. And then one critical thing, you need to grow trajectory. So in your organization, grow your skills. You know, I mentioned at the beginning of this that relationship is critical.
Okay, yeah.
In this season, this is the point where you need valued relationship.
Right.
Valued relationship who can refer you. So I ask myself, if there's any strong good thing coming up tomorrow and I am not aware, is there anyone in my circle of influence that my name will ring a bell and they will recommend me? Because people don't, we as human, we usually quickly forget that the law of life operates like we run in the bank. Deposit and withdraw. Promise. If I don't have enough deposits in terms of relationship with you, I cannot withdraw from you. So, say for instance, you are the bank that can get me a job. So there is a job that I didn't know about, but you know about it. And you may also have an opportunity for a referral, which is one of the easiest ways to get a job for those that don't know. Now, but I see you on my street and I don't greet you, right? You're trying to come out of a door and I fail to hold the door for you, as simple as that is. Or I see you stranded and I didn't pay attention, or any of those things. These are the tendencies. There's a tendency that you're not likely going to remember me. Yeah. Even if the job that is available, you don't need it.
Right.
But we need to begin to value relationship more, because the greater currency for 2023 through 2030 will be relationships.
I love that part, honestly. But again, let's talk about prioritizing ourselves and this story around opportunities that are there for 2023. Some talked about real estate, talked about investment and all that. Can you expand a little bit about some of those themes that we should be expecting to bring about a boom in the industry?
Yeah, there will really be a boom.
Yeah.
But boom is also a function of perspective. You see, for every economy where things go down, not everybody goes down. It's perspective. So there must be paradigm shift this season with the interest rates, laws around housing and a few other things like that. One thing is very important. Within now in the next 7 years, digital currency will be more stronger. So by recommendation, I want to go and read further about digital currencies. Real estate, for instance, is one place where, with the opportunities that are available, if you dive into it, real estate is one place, especially in our climes, where you can have an investment and have 100% return on investment in 12 to 18 months.
Yeah.
No savings gives you that. That is an aspect to look into. Skill development. Skill development is also very critical. So you want to hone your skills and increase your level of knowledge. There are 3 other things I'm going to recommend for 2023. Number 1 is the need for these 3 things. 1, coaching, and a coach. A coach is someone who may not have your level of expertise, but has the capacity to bring out the best in you. You need that kind of person in your life. For career, some people need career coach.
Right.
You can have a coach who do not strongly play football, say for instance, but is able to train and articulate players on the game of play, and they will have results. Today you have coaches who had been ex-players, but you also have coaches, even if you are a coach and you're an ex-player, your expertise is limited. You are not the goalkeeper and the defender. You only have, so people need coaches. You need business coach.
Yep.
Go look for a business coach. If you're running a business, your business is not producing the results you want, go get a business coach. People are usually very skeptical to pay for things. This is another year I'm also going to say, if you need to stop your ignorance and pay for things, do that once and for all. Number two, you need a mentor. A mentor is not someone you admire. People misconstrue what a mentor is. A mentor is not someone I just admire. If you truly have a mentor is one who you have a relationship with, who knows you and you also know, who you have access to. What is the job of a mentor? The job of a mentor is that they give you some sense of direction based on their experience.
All right.
So a mentor allows you to sit on their shoulder so you can see farther. Mm-hmm. Many people say they have a mentor who they have never seen, never talked to, never reached out to. That's not your mentor. That's not your mentor.
Right.
Your mentor truly, and people need mentorship in different areas. Personal life, some people need mentor. Business-wise, you want to find someone who have done this business before. Mm. You want to ask questions. And I can't be asking you just because I see your picture. And you know, mentorship is a big business. When I mean big business, it's not such that you draw money from it in that sense.
Yeah.
Mentorship, it requires commitment.
Right.
Mentorship requires humility. Yeah. Mentorship requires time, because if I look up to you in things, it means that you are ahead. It also possibly means that our calendar will not be the same. So I must humble myself to be able to gain what experience and expertise that I will need. See, certain people have done, there is nothing new. Somebody has done what you are struggling with now before.
Absolutely.
It is identifying the person, understanding how you can leverage relationship. And so again, I said, the law operates like a bank.
Yeah.
So if I don't have any investment, see the mistake people make and then they run into offense with people is, you see someone who has what you have. In fact, you have even met the person, but you don't have any value addition to the person. Yeah. But you want the person to dole out the secret of their success and pain to you on a platter. It doesn't happen. Yeah. So how do I maintain a mentorship relationship? Yeah. Calls. You don't call a mentor and expect them to, you don't demand that a mentor picks your call. Yeah. You own a relationship such that they are able to pick you, because they are busy people.
Yeah.
Now, one of the ways you can do that, don't forget your mentors or someone you look up to and you want to learn from. You can't forget their birthdays, because that's the only day that they are likely going to drop their guards.
Absolutely.
So you want to oil that.
But as we wrap up, Folabi, clearly the impact of COVID, lots of jobs that came as a result, all the negative things that happened within that period continues to be a thing of concern. And we have people who are almost throwing in the towel, especially in our community, the African community here in Nova Scotia, Halifax. What would you be saying to them by way of, making them understand that it's not over yet?
Honestly, promise, there's no better way to say it than to say, friends, it is not over.
Right.
There's no better way to say it. Now, do I have a pinch of what happened? I do have a pinch of what happened during COVID. However, I will not shy away from the fact that some people have a pinch, some people had a bite, some people were consumed by it. But this is it. Like they say, when there is life, we can muster hope. A lot of people lost a lot of things, promise. Loss of jobs, loss of loved ones, which is one very element that is irreplaceable. However, while anything you do now may not be a replacement for loss of life, having to be able to spring back up is also a succor for anyone that we have lost, right? So here is my encouragement. What I also do for myself is to understand that we are seeds, and in every seed is a forest. Inside the little lies the great. If there is any principle that produced what you lost, that principle is able to reproduce it again.
Right.
But if you don't act at all, then you might live in miseries and regrets. So here is things that worked for me. Within those seasons, I try to associate with like minds who can stir up joy for me. I also try to put myself around resources that can help me lay hold on joy, because honestly, what we need actually is not fire. What we need for any one of us who are in that state, what we need is a spark.
Right.
So if you are able to get that spark, you can ride back again, because success principle is universal. If you are able to produce it, so the pain usually is, I have made this in 10 years. How do I start all over again? Friends, if you have done it in 10 years by principle, starting it at the beginning is usually very difficult. But if you have been able to do it in 10 years, there is a possibility that what you did in 10 years, you are able to do in 2 years. But if you don't start at all, what you did in 10 years that you didn't start again, you will not even have anything. So here is my encouragement. Start it from that point. And then from there, let's begin to grow it again and again and again. And like I mentioned, at this point, start it better, with better relationship, and then ride on wings of relationship, and you can see how this can move on. And I'm believing that by the end of 2023, wherever you find yourself, you will have been able to say, I used to be down by the effect of things that had happened to me, but I'm glad I took that step again, like a baby who tried to walk the first day and fell, and then got back up and took another step, smiled, fell, and got back up and took 2-3 more steps, and then got stamina. And after 1 year, did not even remember he fell at the first step.
What a beautiful place to leave it, Afolabi. Thank you so much for coming to the show.
Thank you, Promise. It's a pleasure being here.
And that was Olabanji Afolabi, our leadership expert, resident here in Halifax, Nova Scotia. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel and check out other episodes of Community Update while you're here. You can also follow us on social media and let us know what you think by sending us an email to communityupdateNS@gmail.com. Till I come your way again, I am Promise Okoy. Bye for now.